The suitcase sat open on our bed. 3 hours until the flight to Paris. I checked my purse again, then the nightstand drawer, then the kitchen counter. My passport was gone. I dumped my handbag onto the floor. Lipstick, keys, receipts scattered everywhere. Nothing. My heart pounded as I tore through the desk drawers. Marcus stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching me panic with a strange calmness that made my stomach turn. "Looking for something?" he asked. His tone was too casual, too knowing. "My passport, Marcus." "Where is my passport?" He shrugged, that infuriating smirk playing at his lips. "I put it somewhere safe. You were overreacting about this trip anyway. You don't need to go." His brother Derek laughed from the living room. His parents nodded in agreement from the couch. "Marcus is right, dear. You get too worked up about these things." The Uber waited outside. The flight would leave in 3 hours. Without me. My name is Victoria Hayes. I'm 38 years old, originally from Portland, Oregon. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories like this. You won't believe what happened next. I stood in our empty house that evening, the silence pressing against my ears. The trip confirmation sat on my phone. Marcus had checked in at the airport. 1 passenger, not 2. He FaceTimed me from the lounge, a glass of wine in hand. "The quiet is nice," he said, grinning. "You should try relaxing sometime." Derek called an hour later. "Consider it a lesson, Victoria. You need to understand your place." Marcus's mother texted, "Stop being so dramatic. He's doing this for your own good." I sat on the couch, staring at the wall. This wasn't spontaneous. This was calculated. They'd planned this together. The family dinner last week suddenly made sense. The knowing glances. The comments about me being too independent. They'd been laying groundwork. Sleep wouldn't come that night. Instead, memories surfaced like bodies floating up from deep water. The medical conference in Boston 2 years ago. My registration had mysteriously disappeared. Marcus said I must have forgotten to complete it. The job opportunity in Seattle last spring. The offer letter vanished from my email. Marcus said the company probably chose someone else. Our joint bank account that became his responsibility after we married. Documents he filed away for safekeeping that I could never find when I needed them. Credit cards opened in my name that I didn't remember authorizing. Every time I questioned something, he had an answer. Reasonable. Concerned. Protective. I'd called it love. I'd been wrong. The pattern was clear now. This wasn't about a vacation. This was about control. Marcus returned 5 days later, tanned and relaxed. He dropped his suitcase in the hallway and tossed my passport onto the kitchen counter like a set of car keys. "See? No harm done. You're making a big deal out of nothing." He'd brought gifts. A scarf from a boutique. Chocolates. A snow globe of the Eiffel Tower. "I knew you'd calm down eventually. You always do." Derek stopped by that evening, clapping Marcus on the shoulder. "Glad you had some peace and quiet, brother. Women need boundaries." Marcus's parents called to welcome him home. Nobody asked how I was. Nobody apologized. Marcus kissed my forehead that night. "Let's move past this, okay? I did what was best for us." I smiled. Nodded. "You're right. Let's move forward." His shoulders relaxed. His guard dropped. Perfect. Because I was done asking permission. I was done explaining myself. I was done being managed. The next morning I drove to the county records office. No drama. No announcements. I requested certified copies of my birth certificate, social security card, and marriage license. All public record. All completely legal. The clerk handed them over in a sealed envelope. I opened a checking account at a different bank during my lunch break. Just mine. No joint access. I deposited the small inheritance from my grandmother that Marcus didn't know had finally cleared probate. $3,000. Not much, but mine. I didn't tell Marcus about either action. I didn't need his permission. I didn't need his approval. I simply moved. That evening, an email appeared in my inbox. The subject line read, "Long time no contact." It was from Lydia Park, a colleague from my previous job. Before Marcus convinced me to quit. Before he said my career was causing me stress. Before he said we didn't need two incomes. Lydia's email turned into a phone call the next day. She was starting a consulting firm. Medical records management. My exact specialty. I need someone who knows the field inside and out. Flexible hours. Remote work. Contract basis to start. My heart raced. I need to think about it. Of course. But Victoria, I've always respected your work. You were the best analyst we had. I hung up and stared at my phone. Marcus was in the garage. I could hear him talking to Derek, their voices carrying through the walls. I could say no. Stay safe. Stay small. Stay controlled. Or I could say yes. I called Lydia back before I lost my nerve. I'm interested. Excellent. Can you start next week? Marcus barely looked up when I told him at dinner. That's nice, honey. Something to keep you busy. Derek laughed. How long before she gets tired of it? The following Sunday, we gathered at Marcus's parents' house. The usual crowd. His mother fussing in the kitchen. His father holding court in the living room. Derek arrived late, already halfway to drunk. Dinner conversation drifted to my new consulting work. Victoria's playing career woman again, Derek announced, reaching for more wine. How cute. Marcus's father chuckled. Better than her moping around the house. Remember when we had to cancel her little Paris trip? Derek continued, louder now. That was classic. She actually thought she was going. Everyone laughed. Marcus grinned. His mother patted my hand. It's good Marcus knows how to keep you in line, dear. I smiled politely. Cut my food. Said nothing. But I memorized every word. Every laugh. Every casual cruelty they thought was acceptable because I'd always absorbed it before. They had no idea what they'd just confirmed for me. They underestimated me completely. And that was their first mistake. The consulting work came naturally. Medical record systems, compliance protocols, data management. Skills I'd spent years developing before Marcus convinced me they didn't matter. Lydia sent complex projects. I delivered ahead of schedule. Within a month, I was working 20 hours a week. Within 2 months, 30. The paychecks deposited directly into my private account. I started noticing other things at home. Bills paid late despite Marcus managing our finances. Fees I didn't recognize on statements he handled. A credit card I never opened but was apparently in collections. When I asked about the overdue electric bill, Marcus waved me off. I've got it under control. Don't worry about things you don't understand. But I did understand. I understood numbers. I understood systems. I understood when someone was either incompetent or hiding something. Marcus, this says final notice. He slammed his coffee cup down. I said I've got it handled, Victoria. Why are you suddenly questioning everything? His reaction told me what I needed to know. I apologized immediately. You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to doubt you. His anger dissolved into satisfaction. It's okay. I know you're stressed with your little job. Just let me handle the important stuff. His parents reinforced it that weekend. Men understand finances better, dear. It's biological. I nodded, smiled, agreed. And that night, I began documenting everything. I photographed every bill that came to the house before Marcus saw it. I logged every late payment notice. I screen-captured bank statements from our joint account when he left his laptop open. I created a folder on a cloud drive he didn't know existed. No confrontation. No accusations. Just evidence. Quietly collected. Carefully stored. 2 weeks later, I scheduled a consultation. Just for information, I told the receptionist. The attorney's office was downtown. Private. Discreet. Nobody I knew would see me there. The attorney's name was Bernard Phillips. He was 60, methodical, and had seen everything. I showed him my documentation. The bills. The statements. The accounts I never authorized. He reviewed everything in silence, occasionally making notes. Finally, he looked up. Mrs. Hayes, you're in a better position than you think. How so? Your husband has been financially negligent at best, fraudulent at worst. These accounts in your name without your signature? That's identity fraud. The mismanagement of joint funds? That's potentially theft. My hands shook. What are my options? Legally, you have several. But the most important thing you need to understand is this. He needs your silence more than you need him. The words landed like a key turning in a lock. Explain. He's created a house of cards. If you step away, it collapses. If you speak up, it collapses. Either way, you have leverage he doesn't know you have. I left that office with something I hadn't felt in years. Power. 3 weeks later, Marcus announced another trip. Business conference in Denver. 4 days. I leave Friday. He didn't ask if I minded. He informed me. Derek would join him. Guy's trip, Marcus said, grinning. You'll be fine here. His mother called to confirm she'd check on me. Make sure you're not getting into trouble while Marcus is away. Thursday night, Marcus packed his bag. He made a show of leaving his passport on the counter. See? I'm not hiding it. We've moved past all that, right? Right. He kissed my forehead. I'll call when I land. I watched him leave Friday morning. Watched Derek pick him up. Watched them drive away, laughing. Then I went to my computer. I had work to do. And for the first time in years, I had complete freedom to do it. The consultation with Bernard had given me clarity. Now I needed preparation. While Marcus drank in Denver, I moved methodically through our life. I gathered every document Bernard had suggested. Tax returns, property deeds, insurance policies, investment statements. I photographed everything. I uploaded copies to my secure cloud drive. I contacted my former employer. They still had my personnel file. Would you be willing to provide a reference letter? Absolutely. You were excellent. We were sorry to lose you. The letter arrived by email within 2 days. I secured a second letter from a former supervisor, a third from a colleague, professional references, documentation of my skills, my reliability, my value. Things Marcus had convinced me didn't exist anymore. I transferred more money into my private account. Not from our joint account. From my consulting work. Every dollar I earned. Every penny mine. On Tuesday, I did something else. I booked a flight. New York City. 1 week away. 1 passenger. Just me. Marcus returned Sunday evening, relaxed and sunburned. Denver was great. You should have seen Derek try to ski. We ordered takeout. He told me about the conference, the speakers, the networking. Then casually over lo mein, I said it. I'm taking a trip. New York. Thursday through Monday. Marcus laughed. Good one. I'm serious. I already booked it. His smile faded. Very funny, Victoria. I showed him my phone. Confirmation number. Flight details. Hotel reservation. His face changed. First confusion. Then disbelief. Then something harder. You're not going. I am. No. You're not. I met his eyes. Yes, Marcus. I am. His jaw clenched. We'll discuss this. There's nothing to discuss. I'm telling you as a courtesy, not asking permission. He stared at me like I'd grown a second head. For the first time in our marriage, he realized he couldn't simply tell me no. Not anymore. The phone calls started within an hour. His mother first. Victoria, Marcus tells me you're planning some ridiculous trip. What are you thinking? I'm thinking I'd like to visit New York. That's selfish. What about Marcus? He can manage for 4 days. His father called next. Young lady, you need to remember your place in this marriage. My place is wherever I choose to be. Derek sent texts. Crude ones. Angry ones. Accusing me of abandoning family. Of being ungrateful. Of thinking I was better than them. Marcus tried reason. Then guilt. Then anger. This is embarrassing, Victoria. What will people think? I don't care what people think. You're being ridiculous. Maybe. But I'm still going. That night, he slept in the guest room. The silent treatment. The punishment I was supposed to fear. Instead, I slept better than I had in months. Because for the first time, I'd said no. And the world hadn't ended. Marcus's parents hosted dinner Friday night. Mandatory attendance, according to the text. The tension was immediate. His mother barely spoke to me. His father glared. Derek drank heavily. Over dessert, Marcus's mother finally broke. So, Victoria, this New York trip, is this really necessary? I think so, yes. And what does Marcus think? Marcus knows I'm going. Derek snorted. Doesn't sound like he's thrilled about it. That's between Marcus and me. His father leaned forward. Marriage is about compromise, young lady. Consideration. Putting family first. I set down my fork. I've been putting family first for 6 years. This is 4 days. 4 days of selfishness, his mother snapped. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. The room felt smaller. Hotter. Actually, his father said slowly, I have a question. Where exactly is the money coming from for this trip? I smiled. My consulting work. The silence was beautiful. Derek recovered first. Wait, you're actually making money from that? The consulting role became permanent the following Monday. Lydia called personally. We want you full-time. Salary, benefits, the works. You've been exceptional. The offer was generous. More than I'd made at my previous job. Health insurance. Retirement matching. Paid time off. I accepted immediately. That evening, I told Marcus at dinner. He pushed food around his plate. Full-time. Yes. That's a lot of hours, Victoria. It's a normal work week. Who'll handle things at home? We'll both handle things at home, Marcus. His face tightened. I don't think this is a good idea. Fortunately, it's not your decision. Something shifted in his expression. Fear? Recognition? We should talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Victoria, I think we need counseling. The suggestion caught me off guard. In 6 years, he'd never suggested counseling. Never admitted anything was wrong. Now suddenly he wanted help. Why now? Because we're having communication issues. You mean because I'm not obeying you anymore? We went to counseling. Once. The therapist, a woman named Dr. Sullivan, listened carefully to Marcus's concerns. Victoria's become distant. Secretive. She's making major decisions without discussing them with me. Dr. Sullivan turned to me. Victoria, I'm working. I'm traveling. I'm living. But you're not considering Marcus's feelings, he interrupted. I considered Marcus's feelings for 6 years. I quit my job because he said it stressed me out. I stopped seeing friends because he said they were negative influences. I missed opportunities because he said we didn't need the money. And then he hid my passport to prevent me from taking a trip because apparently he decides where I go and when. Dr. Sullivan's eyebrow rose. He hid your passport? Yes. That's concerning. Marcus shifted. It was a misunderstanding. I was worried about her. She gets anxious. She's sitting right here. You can address her directly. Victoria, he said, his voice softer now. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Can we move past it? I looked at him. Really looked at him. No, Marcus. We can't. Marcus tried threats next. Sitting at the kitchen table, financial statements spread before him. If you leave, you'll have nothing. This house is in my name. The car. The investments. You signed a prenup. I'd expected this. Actually, Marcus, I didn't sign a prenup. You had your attorney draft one. I never signed it. His face paled. Yes, you did. I have it. You have an unsigned document. Check with your lawyer. He scrambled for his phone. Called his attorney. The conversation was brief. Brutal. He hung up, white-faced. How did you? I read what you put in front of me. I chose not to sign. You never followed up. That's legal? Yes. Binding? No. He tried another angle. Fine. But I'll fight you on everything. The house. The money. I'll make this hell. I pulled out my phone. Bernard Phillips. He's my attorney. Call yours. They'll explain your position. What position? The one where you've committed identity fraud. Financial negligence. Possibly theft. All documented. His hands shook. You've been planning this. No, Marcus. I've been protecting myself. Derek showed up unannounced 2 days later.
Drunk. Angry.
You've ruined everything, Victoria. Marcus is a mess. My parents are furious. This is your fault. I stood in the doorway, blocking entry. How is it my fault? You're destroying this family. By having a job, by taking a trip, by existing as a person, by being selfish. Marcus took care of you, gave you everything. Marcus controlled me, isolated me, committed fraud in my name. That's not love, Derek. That's abuse. He lunged forward. I stepped back and closed the door, locked it, called the police. There's an intoxicated man trying to enter my home. They arrived within minutes. Derek was escorted away, yelling threats. The officer took my statement. Do you want to press charges? Not yet, but I want this documented. The report number went into my file. More evidence. More documentation. Marcus called that night, desperate. Derek was just upset. You didn't need to call the cops. He was drunk and aggressive. I protected myself. This is getting out of control. Everything proceeded through attorneys after that. No more screaming. No more threats. Just legal documents. Formal language. Clear consequences. The division of assets was straightforward. The house was in Marcus's name, but I'd contributed to the mortgage for 6 years. I was owed compensation. The joint accounts would be split equally. The fraudulent accounts he'd opened in my name would be his sole responsibility. My attorney sent everything in writing. Marcus's attorney responded. Back and forth. Professional.
Distant.
Civil. Marcus tried to call several times. I didn't answer. His mother left voicemails. This is cruel, Victoria. He loves you. His father sent emails. You're making a terrible mistake. I deleted everything. One evening, Marcus came to the house. I watched through the window as he sat in his car for 20 minutes before finally knocking. I opened the door, but didn't invite him in. Victoria, please.
Can we talk?
Our attorneys are handling everything. But, Marcus, this is over. Sign the papers. Let me go. I don't understand how it got this bad. That's the problem. You still don't. The begging stage lasted 2 weeks. Marcus called from his mother's house, where he was staying. I'll change. I'll do better. We can make this work. His mother called. He's devastated, Victoria. Don't you care? His father tried authority. You're being unreasonable. Marriage requires forgiveness. Derek sent drunken texts. You're a cold woman. My brother deserves better. I didn't respond to any of them. Bernard advised complete silence. Don't engage. Don't explain. Don't justify. You've stated your position. Let the legal process proceed. So I did. I went to work. I met with clients. I traveled to New York as planned. 4 perfect days of museums, restaurants, Broadway shows. Freedom. While I was gone, Marcus sent flowers to my hotel. The card read, I'm sorry. Please come home. I left them at the front desk for the staff. When I returned, he was waiting at the house. We need to talk. No, Marcus. We don't. I won't sign. Then we go to court. Bernard showed me the evidence. Identity fraud. Financial negligence. Do you really want that public? We met one final time. At his request. A coffee shop downtown. Neutral territory. He looked terrible. Thinner. Dark circles under his eyes. I want to understand what I did wrong. I stir my coffee. You hid my passport. I apologized for that. You isolated me from my career. I thought you were stressed. You opened accounts in my name without permission. I was trying to help. You controlled every aspect of my life, Marcus. And when I tried to reclaim any autonomy, your entire family attacked me. He stared into his cup. I just wanted to take care of you.
No.
You wanted to manage me. There's a difference. I love you. Love doesn't steal. It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't require someone to disappear. He reached across the table. I pulled my hands back. Sign the papers, Marcus. And if I don't, then we go to trial. And everything becomes public record. Every fraud. Every lie. every controlling action. Is that what you want?
He signed the next day.
I moved out that weekend. The flight to Barcelona left on a Tuesday morning. I'd booked it a month earlier. After everything was finalized. After the papers were signed. After I was legally free. My passport sat in my purse. I checked it 3 times before leaving for the airport. Force of habit.
Trauma. Both.
The security line moved quickly. My boarding pass scanned without issue. I settled into my seat by the window and watched Portland shrink below me. My phone stayed in airplane mode. No messages. No calls. No obligations. Just me, 38 years old. Starting over.
Scared.
Excited.
Free.
Barcelona was beautiful. I spent a week walking Los Ramblas, visiting museums, eating tapas at tiny restaurants. I spoke broken Spanish and laughed at myself. I met other travelers. Shared meals. Told my story. They understood. They'd been there too. Different details. Same pattern. Control disguised as concern. Isolation disguised as protection. Abuse disguised as love. On my last night, a message appeared when I turned on my phone at the hotel. The message was from Marcus. I hope you're happy. You destroyed everything. I read it twice. Then I deleted it. No response. No explanation. No guilt. He didn't deserve my words anymore. He'd had 6 years of my patience, my accommodation, my constant shrinking to fit his need for control. That was enough. More than enough. I blocked his number. Blocked his parents. Blocked Derek. Wiped them from my phone like dust from a shelf. Bernard had sent a message too. All financial matters resolved. Accounts separated. You're clear. Congratulations, Victoria. I replied simply, thank you. The flight home felt different than the flight there. Not lighter, exactly, but clearer. I understood now what I'd spent years refusing to see. I'd never been weak. I'd been patient.
Strategic.
Careful. I'd survived by adapting. And when the moment came, I'd acted. Not with rage. Not with revenge. But with cold, calculated precision. Marcus had underestimated me.
They all had.
That was their mistake. Not mine. I'm writing this from my new apartment in Portland. Small.
Mine.
Paid for with money I earned. The walls are white. I'm choosing colors slowly, deliberately. There's no rush. I still work for Lydia's firm. I got promoted last month. Senior consultant. Leadership responsibilities. Travel opportunities. Everything Marcus said I couldn't handle. I handle it fine. I saw Derek once, at a grocery store. He looked away quickly. Guilty? Ashamed? I don't know. I don't care. His opinions stopped mattering the moment I walked away. Marcus tried to friend me on social media last week. I denied the request. Some doors, once closed, don't reopen. My therapist says I'm doing well. Processing trauma. Building boundaries. Learning to trust myself again. It takes time. I have time now. That's the thing they never understood. I wasn't powerless. I was waiting, watching, planning. And when the moment came, when I finally understood what I was dealing with, I moved. No drama. No scenes. Just quiet, devastating precision. Control is fragile. It requires constant maintenance. Constant pressure. The moment I stopped accepting it, the whole structure collapsed. Quiet strength isn't weakness. It's strategy. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to play the game anymore. I kept my passport. It sits on my nightstand now. A reminder. Not of what was stolen, but of what I took back. My freedom. My choices. My life. They thought hiding a passport would keep me grounded. They were wrong. Because you can't cage someone who's already decided to fly. That's what Marcus never understood. That's what they all missed. I wasn't waiting for permission. I was waiting for clarity. And once I had it, I was unstoppable.